We're going to be taking a look at the Return to Workplace application from Cherwell. This application is designed to facilitate the questioning of users or employees looking to return to the workplace after some sort of event. The out-of-the-box events include active shooter, infectious disease, and natural disaster. These event types coincide with our crisis management mergeable application launched earlier this year. The idea is that for each of the event types, different parameters can be set as default values. We're allowing the employer to denote which buildings are set to return, which countries in a global organization are set to return, and or even to distinguish by state or province. In some countries, age may be a factor in the returning of the employee, if not a restriction. This is all configurable to adhere to local legal guidelines. There also is a dynamic approval process, which can leverage what is known as an event sponsor, the individual's manager, and of course a series of dashboard metrics behind the entire application to ensure at any given time a manager or C-level individual is aware of the general health of a department, building, site, or employees within a particular country. The design of the administration console allows an employee or user to easily configure the event defaults displayed here, review the out-of-the-box survey questions, which consists of what are known as general questions, regardless of country or state of origin, as well as geographically specific questions geared toward the individual requirements that different countries may have and or questions that may be required to be asked. Along with the questions on the survey are a series of guidelines put forth by the different governing bodies within each country, again based on the country and locale of the individual taking the questionnaire. Upon conclusion and acceptance of an individual's responses, a service request may or may not be created based on the considerations for return, allowing IT to easily understand which assets need to be sanitized upon return to prevent, in this case, the further spread of an infectious disease, whether or not a PPE device of varying types needs to be distributed, and then we've also added an element of room to our existing building and site objects to allow for room assignment and the enforcement of social distancing guidelines. Here we can see on the grid, very simply, the building the room exists in, the name of the room, and in some cases, whether or not social distancing has been applied and or if the capacity has been met for any given room. All these things that are taken into factor when a new event is created. Let's jump to an existing event now and look at the rest of the process. So this then is the Return to Workplace event record. It consists of the name of the event, the sponsor of the event, when the surveys and questionnaires should begin to go out to the employees designated for return. And we do know that many organizations are looking to have reoccurring questionnaires sent out on a daily, weekly, bi-weekly, bi-daily basis. So we are allowing for a frequency and recurrence, wherein Cherwell will only send out surveys on the frequency specified if the prior survey by any given individual has not been completed. So here we see an event actively underway. At the top of any given event, you can see the total employees set to return based on the building, country, or province selected for return. We can see how many have already taken the survey and either been approved or answered positively. We also can see those that were denied access based on a poorly answered question, typically indicating that they've been in contact with or are feeling the effects of whatever event is currently taking place. And then we can also see the outstanding questionnaires or surveys that have not yet been completed and or sitting in a pending state. So with this, let's go ahead and take a look at what a questionnaire might look like. So upon clicking send surveys, or the survey begins on the particular date, an email is sent to the individual indicating they need to take the workplace survey. Upon login and following the link provided in the email, the individual is presented with the guidelines configured for their particular country, as well as the particular survey questions, both general and specific, based on their locale. And based on, again, the nature and the answer of these questions, an approval may or may not be required. If an approval is required, an email is sent to the approver in question. You can see here I could follow the link, which brings me to an end user portal, so a license is not required, where I can see any individuals requiring my approval before they can return to the workplace, as well as my entire team's health status where they reside, and when they're supposed to receive their next survey. Upon approval, the employee receives a pass that allows them to get back into work that is valid for the duration specified in the event itself. This pass could be used then to gain access to the particular building in question, and upon successful approval, for IT, a service request is created consisting of all the information necessary along with automation processes that are going to facilitate the return of that individual back to the workplace. This list then is dynamic based on the actions they need to perform. The IT individual can then step by step through, identify the policy in place, perform room assignments, allocate PPE devices, and lastly, sanitize the assets assigned to the individual looking to return, at which point the service request can be completed and company policies adhered to. To accurately measure how effective the return to workplace process is going, at an executive level, we've included another dashboard, the executive dashboard, which allows for, at a very high level, visibility into the general health of particular buildings and particular rooms, how many people are okay versus not okay, and also the status of, in this case, PPE devices and inventory, such that we can keep on top of our stock to allow as many people to return to the workplace as possible.